Hello Primary 3, I welcome you all. This is Teacher Katumba Sam teaching you mathematics. In our topic today, we are going to look at fractions. Everybody, fractions. We need to know what is a fraction. What is a fraction? What is a fraction? A fraction is a part of a whole. A fraction is a part of a whole. A fraction is a part of a whole. What is a whole? This is a whole. This is a whole. This is a whole. This is a whole, or what you call a chiramba in Uganda. So this is a whole. The moment I break a part, then it becomes a fraction. This is a fraction, and this is what? A fraction. So a fraction is a part of a whole. This is a whole. This is a whole. If I cut it into pieces, then this one is a fraction, and this one is what? A fraction. So a fraction is a part of a whole. A part of a whole. Now let's see how we can name fractions. Naming fractions. Naming fractions. Now fractions are got from whole. Fractions are got from whole. For example, this one is written as 1. It is 1 whole. 1 whole. One whole. Or we may say a whole. We can call it one whole or a whole. But the moment we cut it into two pieces, then it becomes a fraction. This is one whole. It resembles this one, right? If we cut it into two, this one becomes a fraction, and this one is also a fraction. So this is a half, and this one is also a half. So that has been a whole. A whole has been cut into two pieces. We have part A and part B. Part A and part B. So when we take part B alone, then we call this one a half. Or 1/2. A half, this is what I'm referring to. A half. Or we may call it 1/2. Then still we have this one. This is a whole piece of paper. A whole. This is a whole piece of whole piece of paper. If I cut it into 2 pieces, then it becomes a half. For example, these are equal pieces, right? So this is a half and this is a half. So in our diagram here, we shall cut our diagram into 2. So we have this part, the shaded part. We may call this one is called a half. A half. This is our part. This is the shaded part. So this is a half of the other. A half of this. So this one is a half. Sorry. This is a half. A half or 1 half. A half of this. This is a half of this. So we call this one half or a half. This is part A. This is part A. Okay. Let's look at another part of a fraction. But still, we can have this one before we look at that. We can divide our piece of paper in that form. We can divide it in that form. And this part now is still half of the paper. Half of the whole. So we shall call this one a half. This is now what we are having. This is a half or 1 half. So in the figures, this is written as 1 out of the 2 parts. There are 2 parts, you have A and B. So this one is written as 1 out of the 2 parts, which is read as 1 half or a half. Then this one also 1 out of 2. There are 2 parts. We have this part and this part. So we have shaded 1 part. We have removed 1 part. So this one is 1 out of 2. Or still better, we may call it a half or 1 half. Still we have 2 parts here. We have this part and we have that part. There are 2 parts. So this one also is 1 out of 2, which is read as a half or 1 half. So that is one part of the fraction, a half. Now let's look at another part of a fraction. Another part of a fraction. We said, how do we call that one? That one is a whole. That one is what? A whole. Or what you mean tekiramba in Uganda. So it's a whole. Now we are going to divide it into, we are going to cut it into 3 pieces. 3 pieces. And these pieces should be equal. 3 equal pieces. Even here the parts have to be equal. The parts have to be equal. this is a whole. This is a whole. Now we are removing one part. One part. And this is 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. There are 3 parts. There are 3 parts. Now we are removing one part. These are 2 parts. So it's 1 out of the 3 parts. This is what I mean. This is the part that we are removing. And now we are having 1 out of 3. One part has been cut off. So it is 1 out of 3. Which we may call a third. A third. Or 1/3. We may call it a third or 1/3. 1/3. 1 out of the 3. These are 3. If we combine them, we formulate a whole. We can get a whole. But the moment we remove one part, then this is 1 out of the 3 parts. 1 out of the 3 parts. And therefore, this is a third. A third. Everybody? A third. Or we may call it 1/3. 1/3. Still, we can have our paper, piece of paper. We can have our piece of paper, this one here. This is our piece of paper. Then we divide it into 3 equal parts. 3 equal parts. And divide it into 3 equal parts. Then this is, you can see the parts that I'm talking of. These are 3 parts. We have divided it into 3 equal parts. Now we are removing one part. 1 out of the 3 parts. 1 out of the 3 parts. Which is written as 1 out of the 3. If we are to use a diagram, then we shall have these parts. We shall have these parts. We shall have 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 parts. There are 3 parts. And we are taking 1 out of the 3. So we are taking the shaded part. And the shaded part represents 1 out of the 3 parts, which is still better written as a third. Or we may write it as 1/3. So we have all these fractions here represent a half, or 1/2, or 1 out of 2. Then these ones represent 1/3, or a third, or 1 out of 3. Okay, let's look at another fraction. Let me try to clean off here. So let's look at another fraction. Another fraction is a this one here. Sorry. We are having that one. Now we are dividing it into 4 pieces. But these pieces should be equal. And now we are cutting one piece. We are removing one piece. We are removing one piece. So this one is written as 1 out of the 4 parts. 1 out of the 4 parts. 1 out of the 4 parts. Which is written as a quarter. Or 1 quarter. One quarter. So we are removing one part out of the 4 parts. We are taking away this part. It is 1 out of the 4 parts. So it's 1 quarter. This is our whole. This time we have this one, our piece of paper. And we are dividing it into 4 parts. We are dividing it into 4 parts. It has been divided into 4 parts. But the moment we remove one part, then we call that one 1 out of 4, which is written as a quarter. Or still better, 1 quarter. Let's have a look at another fraction. Another fraction. So we have this one. This is our whole. That's the whole. And we are dividing the whole into 5 pieces. We are dividing the whole into 5 pieces. But these pieces should be almost equal. They should be equal. So we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And we are cutting 1. We are cutting one piece. And this one is a 1 out of 4. This one is written as 1 out of, actually 1 out of 5, not 4. 1 out of 5, which is written as a 50th. 50th. There is no I here. Mark that one. Some people are writing it like this. A 50th. But this one is wrong. That one is what? Wrong. So mark that one. There is no I in between. So a 50th or 1/50th. So you should take special note of that. This one is a 50th or 1/50th. Then, still better, we can have this. We can have a whole divided into several pieces. This time we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are removing 1. This one is read as 1/60th or a 60th. Like that. Then, still we can read it as 1/60th. Like that. You can read it as 1/60th or a 60th. That one there. If there are 2 parts shaded, then we can say 2/60th. 2/60th. Okay. So that is it. That is it. These are the parts. So we can have this one again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The whole has been divided into 6 parts. So what does that mean? If we cut the 2 parts, if we cut these 2 parts, then this one will be 2, 6. 2 out of 6. We have cut 2. We have removed 2 parts. And therefore we can call this one 2 out of 6, which is written as 260. 260. 260. So it is written as 260 because these 2 parts have been removed. If there are 3, then we can say 350. 360. We are having several examples so that I want you to understand. For example, here, that is our whole. Now the whole is being divided into different parts. We are having 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And then these 2 parts are shaded. Or let's remove 3. The 3 parts are removed. We are going to cut off the shaded parts. And now we are having 3 out of 4. We have cut 3 parts. This one, that one, that one. Out of the 4 parts. So we say this one is 3 out of 4. Or we may say 3 quarters. 3 quarters. 3 quarters. So we have cut 3 parts out of 4, which is read as 3 quarters. 3 quarters. Then we are having this. 1, 2, 3. This is 3. Let's add another part. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we are cutting off these 2 parts. So this one is read as 2/5. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. We have removed the 2 out of the 5 parts. We are taking away the 2. We are taking away these 2 parts out of the 5 parts. And then therefore, this one is 2. This one is written as 2/5. 2/5. Remember I told you there is no I here. Mark that one. That one is a very important point. There is no I. The moment you put there I, we shall penalize you by giving a 0 mark. By giving a zero mark. So that is very important to note. So we are taking away the 2 parts. This one is 2 out of 5. Out of the 5 parts. They were 5, but now we are taking away the 2 parts. And therefore we are having 2 out of 5. And this is written as 2/5. 2 is written as 2/5. Okay. What about this one? This one, we are about to wind up. This one here. So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are cutting these ones. Now we are cutting the 3 parts out of the 5 parts, which is written as 3/5. 3/5. Why we have cut off the 3 parts? 1, 2, 3. But there were 5 parts. That's why we say 3 out of the 5 parts, which is written as 3/5. So that is what we can talk about naming fractions. There are so many other fractions that we learned in primary 4, but for our case in primary 3, we shall stop on those ones. However, you can keep on practicing so that you can gain perfection, right? Don't forget to write those fractions perfectly. Write them perfectly and then make thorough practice. Wait for an activity. Thank you.